Yeah, that's right. We're about to make Mystique. And more importantly, maybe, we're about to watch me fail in making Mystique initially, and then correcting that error. So, that brings us to our characters. There you go, see, Mystique 2 and Mystique 1. So, my failure, I don't want to get too specific into this, so I'm just going to kind of leave it up while I talk about this. Failure. So I thought, Mystique, shape changing, why not do a druid? And I know that she's more so known for like being able to change into other humans and everything, but over time, a lot of things have happened with these characters in comic books, and she can change into, or they, into animals of the such. So, I said, let's do this with the druid. It's got the Sage domain and the Midnight domain, and I think then maybe we could work from there. So I started out my first note right at tier 2. The pickings are slim through the first 2 levels. Aside from the shape-shifting and healing stuff, I wonder if this is actually the best class to create Mystique from. So Mystique also is a fast healer, maybe not quite in the same sense as like Wolverine is, but also, yes, is known for fast healing and known for being like a good fighter. But as I would learn, not really a magic character. I say learn because I'm not a comic nerd. I never really read them too much. X-Men, though, is one that I'm, more familiar with, but still. I don't know everything off the top of my head. So I was using Google to help me try to find where I could take this character along the way, because I really wanted to make it work. And then through the first 4 levels, there were only 2 cards that I felt fit. So that's an issue. Several cards distinctly had abilities that were not Mystique-like, and I think that I was already thinking that this was a mistake at that point. At level 6, I multi-classed into the Rogue, took the Midnight Domain, took the Syndicate Foundation, and that's where we're going to end up finding our Mystique. By level 7, I kind of gave up. I picked up Cloaking Blast, not because it was the most Mystique type of option, but because it synergized with Rogue really nicely, at least. After that, I gave up, and that's kind of that. Here's the build. If you want to pause at any point, look a little bit closer at it, see why things just might not have really worked out. Thornskin, oh yeah, that's a totally Mystique ability. That one, I think, you can make these things kind of work, but it's not Mystique. This is not Mystique. This is Mystique. Now, I feel like at this point, I have really made a lot of rogue-based characters. I haven't gone really into the Syndicate outside of the fact that when I multi-classed with Mystique number 1, I did go into Syndicate. So this is going to be a really, really martial version of this Mystique character. Very evasive. Look at all that high evasion. Can, I think, pretty good damage thresholds there overall. And, is hitting. Let's just kind of go through this. For the second tier of play, I took 2 hit point slots, and I went with Finesse, Presence, Agility, and Strength. Lots of traits, and I took an Evasion slot and a Stress slot, as well as those 2 hit point slots. So I have 10 hit point slots total, 10 Stress slots total. Let's see, my note was so far I've been able to stay out of the realm of magic, which I think is important for this character, was not something I could do with Mystique number 1. Mystique doesn't really cast spells or anything. She's a hand-to-hand combatant. Her shape-shifting ability works perfect with Uncanny Disguise. So we're just going to kind of use Uncanny Disguise as our shape-shifting ability, because really with the wording, I say it works perfect with it, because the wording of Uncanny Disguise is very, I would say, magical. When you have a few minutes to prepare, you can mark a stress and don the facade of any humanoid you can picture clearly in your mind. While disguised, you have advantage on presence rolls to avoid scrutiny, blah, blah. So, even look at that picture. Tell me that's not, like, you got the blue Mystique kind of look. That looks a lot like, I think, how the animation kind of looks in one of the movies for Mystique. Maybe, I can't remember which one. So, I mean, Yeah, it's just kind of a shape shift instead of an uncanny disguise for this. Then at tier 3, levels 5 through 7, I chose to multiclass at 5th level because I started to run out of Mystique options. So I did start to get a little bone dry when at 5th level. And that's when I went and multiclassed into Bone, where I got this untouchable treat feature, as well as signature move and boost, which you can see right there. Those are some martial moves. So signature move is just that. It's a signature move that you can use once per rest. And then boost is you use an ally to deal more damage, and you can attack from far away. So I added a lot of these like martial types of moves, as long as getting deft maneuvers, untouchable, and ferocity, which is just a way to get more maneuverable and more evasive as well after hitting. So these were a lot of traits that I felt really, really fit this, once again, this aesthetic of ours. And then we got Chokehold from the Midnight. I think Mystique can be portrayed in some versions, at least, as quite like the cocky, arrogant type of individual and fighter. So I thought that Troublemaker had made sense. I guess we're just kind of going to go through this. Deft Deceiver did go early on. Just kind of building off of like that type of Mystique, the Mystique who has a Mystique about her. And then we also got stealth, expertise, a little bit sneaky, able to get around, get places. Makes a lot of sense, I think, with this type of character. And then we went over deft maneuvers, just allows you to get places quickly and allows you to go from really far to up close, and then that gives you a bonus to your chance to hit there. So I really do think that this is our Martial Mystique build. So is there anything to add here as terms of the build of this? I multiclassed into the Warrior class, chose the Bone Domain, and the Call of the Brave Foundation. So that's what I did at 5th level when I went into the Bone Domain. So that also got me an attack of opportunity, so some more martial ability, more damage doing, as well as combat training. Did I go into the weaponry? Yes, which allows me to multi-class these weapons. So I end up going with advanced glowing rings, just basically going unarmed combat, but it's better than unarmed combat game-wise, so this is a little bit like just reflavoring unarmed combat in my eyes with these advanced glowing rings, but hey, she can wear glowing rings, whatever. And then the Devouring Dagger, just a way to get some more stress, a little bit more of a reliable hit. I wanted to go, once again, very martial, unarmed-ish combat with a little bit of weaponry at hand there. In terms of the experiences that I gave her, Double Agent was Sherlock Holmes. Apparently that is comic book canon. Mystique was actually literally Sherlock Holmes. And then worked for the government, as well as some other experiences that I think you get in-game. But those were the 3 that I really pulled out of the character's history that I thought would be fun to add to this character's experiences and make her more Mystique. This build is something that you could easily use for a Marvel character, like the Black Widow, or Black Widow. Don't need to add the in there. So, this could be reflavored in a lot of ways, and I think that's where like those experience and stuff can really get you over the hump into mimicking a character from fictional, like an actual fictional character. And then this Syndicate feature I thought made a lot of sense for her, well connected, got all those government connections, is a double agent. She's, always backstabbing her friends and everything, but she knows a lot of people, and that's why she makes all these connections, and at some point, she's got to turn on somebody. So I thought that Syndicate really, really fit this character well as well. Call of the Brave gave me, you can roll a fear, you gain hope, and battle ritual, so nothing too special there in terms of the character. And I did a custom class for Mystique. Ancestry, just called it Mystique, and there I took high stamina, so gained an additional stress slot for the character, as well as kick, and this was a big one, another martial move. So I'm really giving this character a lot of ways to add just some of that martial flavor. We've got kick, we've got chokehold, we've got our signature move, and we've got boost. Do we have any other moves? But that's like 4 or 5 moves that we can kind of cycle between to give a little bit of extra flavor. You got deft maneuvers. We could definitely just flavor that into, some sort of martial move. And then you've got her, this attack of opportunity, the combat training, so helping to make her just a little bit more deadly, all of these things that I think we have accomplished Mystique. What I will just quick show you on the screen is going to be the build for Mystique. So at tier 2, we gained 2 hit point slots. Twice we increased our traits. This is if you want to create this character, of course. And then we gained an evasion slot, increased our evasion, and gained a stress slot. Can't speak. At tier 3, multi-classed, and then gained an evasion, increased our evasion, gained a hit point slot, and increased the traits, it looks like, twice, actually. Presence, agility, strength, and finesse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. There we go. So 6 points put out there. And then at tier 4, put 2 more stress slots, increased our subclass, increased the subclass for the Syndicate subclass there, which gained us those contacts everywhere feature. And then we increased our evasion once, gained a hit point slot, and increased the agility and finesse traits as well to get those up. A final note that I wrote right here is that it may have been worth taking 1 less stress slot here, and instead investing in the traits 1 more time, and then going for the Advanced Rapier, which gives you a second attack option on a nearby foe when you hit on 1. So that would have been once more just adding to that martial ability of, hitting multiple people. You can even say, like, she shift changes her arm, so all of a sudden it's right next to somebody else. I know that's something that she kind of does when she's attacking. She uses that shape-changing ability a lot of times to mimic her opponents or mimic other moves I think that she's seen from other opponents, and she'll shape change to just kind of almost defy a little bit of space and time at moments. So there you go. That is that character. Was there anything I did not cover? Gave her Notorious, I guess, because why not at that point? But yeah, I did run a little bit low on between the Midnight and the Grace domain for this low magic attempt of a character, but once I multiclassed, it worked out timing-wise perfectly, multiclass into the Bone domain, and obviously took quite a few of those features. Obviously, I don't have a whole lot of higher level features. Look at this: level 1, level 1, level 4, level 1, level 2, chokehold, level 3, signature move. I think these are level 4 and 5 items there from the Bone domain. Troublemakers 2 or 3, chokehold I think 2, or no, that's 3, and then Untouchable 1. So I don't know that I even take a 6th level trait feature or higher outside of Notorious. So there you go. I mean, once again, is this the most powerful character ever? No, but you're just trying to fill that Mystique role, and I think you get a lot of fun options. So I think this would be a fun character to play, kind of like a monk, maybe not the most overpowered, but also you've got options to do things that should work out for you and still be able to contribute at a good level and fulfill that fantasy of playing as Mystique or as Black Widow or as a monk. I do think that this very much is just kind of in that mold, and you can make little changes here and there to make it fit exactly which flavor you want to go for. So thank you very much for tuning on into this video. Turned a failure of a Mystique build into a success.